as we called this segment last week, the Build-A-Bear segment. How to build an NFL defense. So we went offense last week. I don't think this list this week is going to be as controversial as it was last week.
Depends what you pick, man.
Yeah, it depends on what you pick.
Hot take quarterback.
Well, I noticed that I got the freaking date wrong as well on my graphic, even though I will release this tomorrow, so it's okay. We'll let this one pass. This too shall pass.
Yes, it will.
So as I'll always randomize everybody's name every single week. Don, you're taking the first look this week.
And okay. This was a tough one this week because I was back and forth on whether I'm picking who I think's going to do the best this year, who's done the best in their career, or am I going to take the best fantasy players who I would take in a fantasy like I was doing last week with the offense.
Yeah.
I went with who I think is going to do well this year performance.
Okay.
Based on past and future. So, yes, my defensive line, Aaron Donald, 7 seasons, 85.5 sacks. So that's averaging 12 sacks a year. 357 tackles, 131 of them for a loss. So that's 51 a year and 19 for a loss every year. 201 quarterback hits. So he's averaging 29 a season. A safety, 7 Pro Bowls, 6 first team All Pro. Can't miss with this guy. That's my pick.
All right.
He's the only current player that our GOAT list.
That's true.
I mean, that says a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, and Tom Brady, sorry.
Yeah.
Defensive GOAT, you know.
Yeah. All right, linebacker. I think I'm going to see this one again later. Couldn't pass up on Bobby Wagner from the Seahawks, 9 seasons, 1,213 tackles.
I had to shout out Gene real quick, Don. He said he's the only defensive lineman to pick. That's facts right now.
I would take somebody different for fantasy, but I agree with you otherwise. Yes.
Yeah.
He said, say something else. I'll snap on y'all. I think that's going to be a constant on this one. Don't worry about it.
That's all right.
We don't
Bobby
get this
Wagner,
one
9 seasons, over 1,200 tackles. He has 75 quarterback hits, so he's definitely coming. Mm-hmm. He has a safety, 22.5 sacks and 10 interceptions over 9 seasons, 7 Pro Bowls, 6-time first team All Pro. Now for my surprise. Second one, I'm going with Fred Warner of the Niners. I like this guy.
He was my third pick.
Yeah,
he's good, man. He's damn good. He's gonna be in the top 40, I believe, of the top 100 players this year.
Yeah, 3 seasons, 367 tackles, 15 for loss. So that's like 122 tackles a year, 14 quarterback hits in 3 seasons, 3 interceptions, and he's got a Pro Bowl and a first team All Pro. I like his progression. I like how he's getting better and better and better, and he's going to continue. All right, first cornerback. We got Jair Alexander. Another one 3 seasons in. Now, this one's a little different. 175 tackles, 7 for loss. He only has a couple quarterback hits, so he's not coming up into the play per se. He does have a safety, 4 interceptions, a Pro Bowl, and a first team All Pro. I wouldn't want to throw on this guy. I really wouldn't.
No,
this
sir.
Guy, it is dangerous to throw at this guy.
Yep.
And
he's a true shutdown corner.
He is.
He's the opposite of Jalen Ramsey as being the physical guy.
Yes.
Jair is like, you better not throw over here. I'm telling you right now, he's the finger pointing corner on you.
All right, let's get to the physical corner.
Uh-oh.
Jalen Ramsey.
Yes, sir.
5 seasons, 287 tackles, 8 for loss, couple quarterback hits, 11 interceptions in 5 seasons, 4-time Pro Bowl, 2-time first team All Pro. Yeah, definitely got to have him. And finishing up with safety, this could be another shocker.
It's
like the progression. I like the progression this guy's making too. He is maybe not the first name to come to your mind, but Justin Simmons on the Broncos.
Let me tell you, after Chris Harris left, somebody needed to step up on that secondary, and Justin Simmons got paid.
Yeah, he did. 5 seasons, 385 tackles, 11 for a loss. He's got a few quarterback hits. 5 seasons, 16 interceptions, 1 Pro Bowl. So he's an up-and-comer. He's been there 5 seasons. He's going to continue to get better. So that's my build of defense.
His Build-A-Bear defense right there. It's not bad, man. All of ours are a little different. There's some constants in there. And all of ours, I don't think this one is too much of a surprise. It's just what were you basing your team off of this time? Because last time you did all fantasy.
This time I went with who I thought was going to project to be a good player this season based on their past performances. Okay. Who I would take if I was building a team this year, could pick anybody. That's who I would take.
Gene said it's too soon for Justin Simmons. It's a high risk, high reward, but
yeah,
I mean,
it might be a year early, but he's right there.
Like I said, that was a tall task to ask a safety to step in and be the best guy on secondary with when Chris Harris left, because Chris Harris was the heart and soul of that secondary for a very long time. Justin Simmons is underrated, is what Bill said. Completely agree. I agree, but he's not number one. Well, Don's doing it off of his own criteria, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on to mine. It's not gonna be a shocker here with Aaron Donald. I mean, the dude is dominant, the best defensive lineman in the league. He swallows up 2 defenders on every single snap. Yep. He's physical, fast, and strong enough to make any play. He can be a linebacker. That's how good he is. So before I get into the rest of my team was built on putting pressure and stopping the run, but having enough pressure to sack the quarterback. Because I think sacks are an overrated stat. Okay? You can make a sack. To me, it's like you can make a sack for -2 or 3 yards. To me, tackles for loss is an important stat, but I think sacks should just be overrated. Now, if sacks were a stat on actual third downs that made you force a team to a 4th down, then we could talk about that matter in a little more. But I would like to see the ratio of when sacks are being made on what play. But to me, sacks are an overrated stat. And also, I want my secondary to be physical, can cover any route, and to be an extra, and my safety to be like an extra piece of the puzzle to fill in at any given time. Okay, so that's kind of what I base my defense off of: stopping the run, being physical, and they can all have synergy with each other. Not necessarily
burnt over the top.
Getting burnt over the top. No, sir. No, sir. So first starting out with Bobby Wagner, right? Bobby Wagner's a beast, man. Best middle linebacker in the league by far. I don't even think it's close. He's not going to put up a lot of sacks. He's not going to put up a ton of forced fumbles. But when he does make plays, it's always been huge plays that he does make. Sideline to sideline, man. Dude's everywhere. Look how big Bobby Wagner is to be moving sideline to sideline. It was between him and Levante David as like the other guy on the other end of the spectrum. If you want speed, he's ranked 31 all time in combined tackles at 12-13. He's still got a long time to go if he stays healthy. 7 Pro Bowls, 6-time first team All Pro, and he's projected to be the 10th best middle linebacker in NFL history as of today. Kind of crazy, man. Yep. Bobby Wagner is my number 1 linebacker. So my number 2 linebacker, man, Darius Leonard has showed us in the 3 years that he's played that he could be one of the best linebackers out there as well. Again, he reminds me a lot of Bobby Wagner. We're going to stop the run first. We're going to play sideline to sideline. We're going to eat you up so much on this front 7 that it's going to force you to try to throw the long ball, and then you're going to get picked off by the 3 guys that I have in my secondary. Like Bobby Wagner, he's like Bobby Wagner, but he has better coverage skills. So that's one thing that you need somebody to complement you. You can switch them in and out. All over the ball. Averages 130 combined tackles a year. Again, very similar to Bobby Wagner. Probably not as strong. Probably a little faster and can help you in coverage. Bill said he's a Hall of Famer. Gene said, did we just become best friends? Sometimes I make some hot takes, man, but I have my reasonings why
I can't complain about any of this.
No. Darius Leonard, man, that's a great choice. He would be one of mine if I was picking my fantasy players. That's what I like about him. He can get the output in the fantasy league. Plus, he's a great player overall. He's both.
So I got to head over to the secondary. My very first guy I'm picking all day. Don't care. Jalen Ramsey. Call me a Florida State fanboy, whatever. Jalen Ramsey is a beast, man. He's been to 4 straight Pro Bowls in his last 5 years. Best cornerback in the league, can cover anyone. Except for one guy, the only problem that he's had in his career so far was this year's playoff against Devontae Adams.
Oh, yeah.
I think all of us can say that Devontae Adams is a problem. Whenever you statistically create 2 or 3 yards of separation at the line of scrimmage, there's not a lot that you can do. But what he's bringing to your team, he's going to be the most confident player on the field. He's going to be the crap talker, as you might say. We try not to be, PG-13 around here. Let's keep it PG. One thing that I do like about him that he never gets talked about a lot, because he played safety in college. Now, a lot of people know that. But also, he brings the safety mentality to a cornerback role. And what I mean by that, the dude is one of the most underrated tacklers at corner. Do people not understand how... I don't think people value how important that is on outside runs from running backs. You need to have a great tackler at corner. Most cornerbacks are not getting 40 to 50 tackles a year. Jalen Ramsey averages that every year. Point made.
Yep. 57 a year on average.
So let's go over to the other guy. I mean, it's going to be a constant. Jair Alexander is my true number 2. He's not going to talk a lot of crap. He's going to give you what you want in a cornerback to me, might be a little controversial to say, but he's the closest thing right now in the 2 years that he's played to having a Deion Sanders type of player. He's going to eat you up. 2019, he allowed 0 yards in the playoffs. They played 2 games, 0 yards. This year, he allowed 16 yards, but it came at the price of 2 interceptions in those 2 games that they played. Another true shutdown cornerback. And to me, not a lot of people talk about Jair Alexander, but I think he's underrated. And people just not have seen his greatness. I mean, Kevin King allowed that to be shown a little bit more. I don't know if y'all used to play Madden back in the day with the quarterback cone. The quarterback cone ain't going... It's not even showing up on Jair Alexander's side. He's just shutting that whole thing down. It's never a smart play to throw to his side. Last player, this might be the most controversial person on my list, but I got my reasons why. If you give you Trey White got exposed a couple games, Cottrell. But not a bad pick. But if you're going by my physicality, able to interchange on each other. I mean, I think you could put Jalen Ramsey at safety if you wanted to, but I got to go with just the heart and soul of that back line is going to be Harrison Smith. I think Harrison Smith, there's really no true weakness to Harrison Smith. I mean, he's got kind of like sneaky speed. He's a ball hawk. He's got 28 interceptions in his career at this point in time. 7 forced fumbles in his career. He can hit you. He's one of those true safeties that can pull up front and actually help your linebackers out a lot because he's going to average about 80 tackles a year. He can cover any tight end. He showed that, and he's very physical on the ball. I know, Gene, I know this might be controversial, but like I said, if you're going by the style of defense that I'm playing, I don't see, you're not throwing over the top on these guys. You're not going to want to run the ball. The only thing that you might question is we might not rush your quarterback all enough. But with Aaron Donald and Bobby Wagner being able to hit your quarterback, we're gonna make you think twice for sure about dropping back too far. So that's my Build-A-Bear defense. Rob, we got you up next.
All right, just save me for last. So to preference my picks, very similar to the offensive side of the ball, when I tried to build a complementary team that would be very difficult to stop, I tried to do the same thing on defense.
Okay.
Get a team together that would complement each other and could stop any style of offense. Because we were only given one D lineman, it's got to be Aaron Donald. Like, no question about it. What else can you say? I mean, he's the most dominant player in the game.
He's the perfect defensive player.
Maybe on either side of the ball, he is the most dominant player in the game. I mean, like, it's that easy. He's the guy that
don't show enough of how dominant he is.
No, because he's literally double teamed with a chipping running back on every single play, and he still puts up numbers. You'll also see another running trend of all of my guys are healthy and or available. Everybody on my list played 16 or 15 games last season.
Okay.
So I tried to go with that too. Okay. Just last year in 16 games, he had 13 and a half sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 28 QB hits. What more do you want? I mean, he's a 3-time defensive player of the year, and he's just going to keep racking them up. Like, everybody thought TJ Watt was catching him. Like, TJ Watt's not getting double and triple teamed every single play to put up the numbers he put up. Like, oh, TJ Watt had more sacks. Like you said, like 15 to 13 and a half. Look at the impact he's having on the game.
But
it's not even a question.
I think the argument also, you can make it for TJ Watt, but you also got to think about that TJ Watt has Devin Bush, who's a freaking wild man. And then you got on the other side of him at the time, they had Bud Dupree as well. So, and
I'm not saying TJ Watt isn't really good, and TJ Watt's 4 years, only 26. So he might catch him as, a couple, father time's undefeated, kind of a deal. But
yeah,
at this point, it's Aaron Donald. He's got to be the anchor of, everything else you're building.
And shout out to the comment section. Give us your defensive linemen, your 2 linebackers, your 2 cornerbacks, and your safety. I'm interested to see.
Anybody you take over the guy that I'm about to pick at linebacker here. So I pick, again, complementary linebackers. So you're about to see. So Levante David.
I can't blame you on that one, man.
I mean, I took an outside guy and a middle guy because I think they're, with the 2 of them patrolling your linebackers, like, Levante David's he's got the feeties. He gets to the edges. He's a great open field tackler. I mean, his highlight reel is just full of him just ruining screens and swing passes and turning them into 4-yard losses and meeting end around, like sweep plays for a 2-yard loss instead of letting him turn the corner. Like, nobody gets around the corner on him. He's also the captain of the number 1 rush defense in the league. The Bucs last season only allowed 1,289 yards, which is a 3.6 yard per carry and 10 rushing touchdowns for the whole season.
Fun fact about Levante David, he was one of those guys that went to a Division II school.
Yeah.
I mean,
he come in, they made it into camp, and look at him now. He's captain of the defense.
Do you guys? Let me ask a question, and then we can continue on. Do you think that Levante David, to me, I don't think he gets enough credit that he deserves. I think he's the most underrated linebacker in the league.
Well, he also that part of that's because he doesn't show up on the stat sheet. He had a sack and a half. He had 1 pick, last year, but it's one of those things like. He doesn't show up as the big flashy. And that's the other thing. And I mentioned this before the show, kind of off air, was I picked linebackers that are linebackers, not these edge guys that you consider an outside linebacker that's really an edge rusher.
Mm-hmm.
So I want a guy that's actually playing the second level, and that's what he does. And he's absolutely excellent at it. You can't deny it.
Yep.
That's the way I put it. So other linebacker to compliment my outside guy, Demario Davis.
Great. It's a great pick. I'm not just saying that to say it. These are great picks.
Combo. Yep. The 2 of them, you got the guy up the middle that's your signal caller, your veteran that knows the game, super smart. I mean, like he's calling the plays before they happen. Just how the Jets let him go The Jets had to jet, and they let him go, and now he's tearing it up for the Saints.
Oh, that's
16
right,
games.
Josh. Sorry. He did go to a community college. He went to a community college, and then he went to
transferred to
Nebraska. But still, he was at a smaller school and didn't really get looked at.
Good call.
Yep.
Yeah. So he played all 16 games. Again, he hasn't missed a game in 9 seasons. Obviously extremely durable. Last season, 119 tackles, 4 sacks, 5 passes defended, 10 tackles for loss, and 12 QB hits. And like I said, he uses his smarts as well as his athleticism. He diagnoses plays and meets them before they get going.
Mm-hmm.
He uses that to meet running backs on the edge that he might not be able to get to because he diagnosed the play so early. Him and Fred Warner might be the best tandem in the league of middle linebackers. Like the two of them together might be the best, linebacking tandem, in my eyes.
Right.
Yeah, because if Bobby Wagner retires tomorrow, then you definitely got to talk about it.
You got another cap. Yeah.
Rob, for the style of defense that you're explaining, how you're trying to build, man, great pick. Great pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, he's a captain, captain of the number 4 rushing defense. 1,500 yards allowed and 11 touchdowns allowed last year on the ground. So, I look at it that way.
Yeah.
Moving on to the secondary, I guess. Jalen Ramsey. Again, I'm going to have complimentary guys, and no surprise at who the other guy is going to be. You could probably guess because 1-2 combo. You guys tend to agree. But again, he played 15 games last year. Again, a season that didn't show up on the stat sheet. He had 1 pick, 9 passes defended, slightly lower than his usual tackles. He only had 44 tackles last year, below his average. But I mean, he was a key to that Rams. I mean, obviously the line had a lot to do with it too, but they were the number 2 receiving defense last year. They only gave up 17 receiving touchdowns last year. In today's NFL, only letting up 17 receiving touchdowns is absolutely astounding.
Yes, absolutely.
He's a freak, man.
To average 1 touchdown, So he only gave up, or the whole Rams defense last year only gave up 4 catches of 40+ yards for the whole season.
It's ridiculous.
He's a corner but that's the other thing is he's a corner that actually hits, which is what, how many times you see him blowing guys up, or he's just a sure tackler in the open field. Those swing passes, like he's there when he's exposed and it's him and 15 yards to the next guy, he gets that guy's ankles every time.
He's a chameleon for sure because not only does he have sneaky speed, he's big for a corner. He hits like a safety.
Yeah.
He can be shut down whenever he wants to. He can line up against your best receiver.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
And you see what he does against D-Hop. I mean, they've played together for how long?
I've said this before about D-Hop, though.
It's a great career-long matchup.
From Clemson, almost playing them twice a year because they would meet each other in the championship game. Then when he got drafted to the Jaguars, and then D-Hop was on the Texans, they played twice a year there. And then they just so happened to move over to the NFC West, and they're playing each other twice a year there. Iron sharpens iron, man. I don't know why we don't talk about that. I don't know why a lot of people don't talk about that matchup more.
Yeah,
and greatness.
I did the math on it. Ramsey and Hopkins met face to face 7 times when they were both in the AFC South, and D-Hop in 7 games had 44 catches, 507 yards, and 3 touchdowns, while Ramsey was on the field. So I mean, I'd say he held him down pretty good. 6 catches, 72 yards, and half a touchdown.
Nobody,
on average.
Yeah, I mean, nobody can say that they're locking up D-Hop like that all the time. Nobody can say
that they're doing that to D-Hop over the course of an entire career. I mean, obviously it hasn't been that many years, but consistently holds him down, and that's just, I give him that extra credit.
Yeah, we're going to see a 30 for 30 on them too.
Yeah, right. That would be cool. All right, so my complimentary corner, Jair Alexander. I mean, you can't. He's quickly become one of, if not the best, man-to-man cover corner in the league.
Yep.
He's so fast. His break on the ball back the receiver cuts and he's already got his foot planted coming back to the ball every time. His closing speed is unreal. I don't know. He's given quarterbacks nightmares already, a couple seasons in. So he's only 24 years old. He's just really quickly becoming that guy. He also had a nice, I don't know if you guys saw it, sack for a safety against Kirk Cousins last year.
Yep.
That was a nice play. And nobody sees they're down on the goal line.
That ain't happening on Kellen Mond. No, just kidding.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, maybe it was because it was Kirk. He's as you say, got the feeties.
Yeah.
But again, complements Jalen Ramsey's style. And I think you've got kind of this 1-2 combo in the secondary.
Yep.
And over the top, I'm just going to take the best over the top, Minkah Fitzpatrick. For me, he's just so long. He gets to every under and overthrown ball. Like he tracks the ball so well with his passes defended. Like he's finally playing his natural position.
Right.
He was stuck at corner in Miami, and now he got the move to safety, and he's tearing it up.
Dude, a lot of those games that they won in 2019 were because of Minkah Fitzpatrick. And I watched a lot of Steelers games that year. And when that trade happened, I was like, oh my goodness gracious.
Yep.
This is an excellent pick, man. Your defense is nasty.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a versatile safety that's a ball hawk, and he's really long. That's the one thing that really stands out. You look at him on the field, most safeties aren't as long as he is. Like he gets and tips passes that you don't think he should be able to get to. It's usually the big receiver in the red zone that gets their hands on the ball, but it's him. And the same thing, the Steelers D-line is really good at tipping passes, and that's where he gets a lot of his interceptions. I mean, he had 4 picks last year. I think 3 of the 4 were tip drill. The D-line got a hand on a ball, and he got under it. He's got an innate ability to do that, and I think I built kind of a versatile all-around defense that's going to be tough to solve.
Yeah. I like that Gene mentioned these safeties. Other than Honey Badger, I don't know if I would put him in there. Yeah. But Minkah Fitzpatrick, Jamal Adams, and Harrison Smith, man, that was, and even your boy on the Bills. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Why am I drawing a blank? Somebody correct me.
What position?
Safety.
Jordan Poyer.
Jordan Poyer. Yep. Jordan Poyer. Yep. I had him up there too. I think he's super underrated. But,
he is very underrated.
Cottrell's picks were Aaron Donald, Bobby Wagner, Darius Leonard, Jalen Ramsey, Denzel Ward. There goes the Cleveland love right there. Denzel Ward is good though. And Honey Badger.
Granted that he's talented.
That's
I mean, Honey Badger gets a lot of credit. He's a ball hawk after the catch. He is a force fumble machine. Always has been. Back to LSU, he was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I will some special abilities, but I just don't put him at that extreme top level. I don't know.
So, question for the comments. Out of all of our lists, I'll flash them one more time for everybody. We got Don, Aaron Donald, Bobby Wagner, Fred Warner, Jair Alexander, Jalen Ramsey, Justin Simmons. You got my squad, pretty much the same guys except for Darius Leonard and Harrison Smith. And then you got Rob, Levante David, Demario Davis, and Minkah Fitzpatrick. Where his difference? Who do you guys think has the best team out of all of ours? Gene says Aaron Donald, Bobby, Darius, Jalen, Jair, and Adams. So your team is pretty much the same as mine except for Harrison Smith. Okay. Ward was my high school teammate, so I'm always going to roll with my guy.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I understand that. But hey, all our criteria are a little different. We all gave our reasons why we picked who we picked. And, if we stepped into Build-A-Bear, this is who we picked together.
That's right.
Don takes the cake. Okay, Don takes the cake. We got to vote for Don in the comments. Justin Simmons is a good one though. I wasn't even thinking about Justin Simmons until you sent me your list, and I was like, you know what? That is a good damn pick. If I ever had to think of one. So, Any final thought? Any closing thoughts on this? That closes out. Are we going to do special teams next
That's
week,
fun.
or is that too boring?
The all kicker punter team.
Yeah, kicker, punter, kick
Kicker,
returner.
punter, punt return, kick return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And long snapper. You got their long snapper in there too.
Your best long snapper. Get out of here.
Well, if we go kicker, I got to pick the guy that was drafted this year, McPherson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Josh said kickers are people too.
That's right.
That's right.
This is very true.